Hello and welcome to another video of Couch Conchology, collecting shells while landlocked in Kansas. Today I'm going to show you a little bit more with labeling and those early shells from my collection with the labels on them. So let's have a look. These are the shell pack abalone with the names on them, the ones that for the most part the shells came from Baja California, Western Mexico, Southern California, kind of in that area in the 1970s. So here's another one. Nice abalone. And here is my pink-mouthed murex. That's a very pretty shell. A little turbo there that was in the shell pack. Then we get into some of the conch shells, the Strombus, which are of the family Strombidae, but the names have been broken down a little bit better with the taxonomy. So some of the genus names have been changed. I need to go back and go through all of these and relabel them with the more accurate, up-to-date names. But for the most part, shell names don't change too much. There's my cowrie, my very first seashell in my collection. And of course, the 20 cowries I got for $4, those were already labeled. So I could go back and look in my R. Tucker Abbott shell book and have a look at these and compare them with the pictures. And of course, too, the ones I'm showing you right now are ones that I was able to get identifications on with the pictures in the little R. Tucker Abbott Seashells of the World book. I'll show you some of the other ones that were not in the book that it took me a little bit longer to get labels for, but for the most part I was able to get quite a few of them figured out. So there's some of the cones. I didn't know it at the time. It took me a while. Oh, I got to interrupt myself. There's my little cute cone shell I got at the Gem and Mineral Show for 25 cents. But I didn't know that quality and grading of the seashells was something to consider. I didn't know such a thing existed until I started getting into it a little bit more. As you can see on the cone shells, sometimes they get a little chippy and are not perfect shells, and it didn't matter to me, but later I found out about grading and how that affects the price of the shell and many other things about it. So now I'm going to show you some more of the shells that were not in the R. Tucker Abbott Seashells of the World book, so hang on and we'll have a look at those. So here's a little Astrea calcar. It's a very, very cute little star shell. Was not in the book, but eventually I could get names on these too. I was pretty persistent about making sure everything had a name. It was one of the conch shells from West Mexico. Here's another one. And here's one of the shells that I'm pretty sure has had a taxonomic change too. This shell's not in very good shape, but I kept it because I could always wait and see if I could get a better one, which I did eventually later. This is a pretty Asian shell that is a nice, thick, heavy shell. There's one of the fig shells. This one comes from West Mexico, and I don't see it for sale oftentimes anymore. They're hard to get. My little carrier shell that I got that already had the name on it too. And this Oliva incrustata, very, very heavy shell, very interesting shell. It's just amazing how heavy these are for their size. Here's another olive from India. Then we have Harpa amoretta. The harp family is a very, very pretty group of shells. They're very, very nice ones to collect. Really pretty patterns on the shells, just quite beautiful. And here's my Spondylus calcifer I got that came from Acapulco, Mexico. Get that focused a little bit better. There we go. And of course I realized I only had one half of the shell, that the rest of it is still in the ocean somewhere, buried in a bunch of crud for 50 years. So It's gone, but at least I have that, and it's really pretty. As far as storage goes, there really was not much when I was a kid, except for the standard cardboard box that had the 4 flaps on it that I would use, or tray type boxes that I would use for shells. They'd end up under my bed in the box, and I could get them out when I wanted to. And then there's the little cigar type boxes with a little lid on them. Ziploc bags were not very common when I was a kid. It was a rare thing to find a Ziploc bag. Nowadays, of course, they're everywhere. They're really easy to get, and craft stores and everything carries those. And so I really like the Ziploc bags for storage because of the fact you can keep the label with the shell. So I'll show you something else here real quick too. When you get a shell that is from a previously owned collection and it has a really old label like this one, keep that label with the shell. Don't throw it away. You can make a new one for the shell like I plan to do with this one, but keep that old label. It's really cool to have around, and it does have some historical value to it. So I will fix that and make that a bigger, better label, but I'll keep that old one. Something else that you can do or need to do with the shells is a lot of these shells that have the periostracum on them, this brown crusty stuff, they can be treated with glycerin to help preserve that and keep it soft. But if it has been treated with glycerin, sometimes what can happen is the label will absorb some of that glycerin, and it'll get on that label and make it kind of greasy and maybe even hard to read. Fortunately, that did not happen with this label, but it's a little bit stained and kind of needs redone. So what I should have done was taken the label and put it in a separate Ziploc bag and then put it in the Ziploc bag with the shell that way, and that way it wouldn't have gotten so stained and messed up. So sometimes Ziploc bags do get a little bit old and split, and so you have to replace them. Sometimes you just have to go through your collection and see what needs a little bit of maintenance that way, and I'll talk about that some more too in a future video. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've gotten some good information from it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time, where we will talk about vacation tourist shell shops and what a cool way that was for me to get shells to add to my collection. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.